Hey everyone, welcome back. So I finally built my infested melee from Deimos, the Keratinos. I know a lot of you already have this weapon at this point, and I'm a little bit late to this, but I was looking forward to seeing how it turned out. The build I settled on looked like this. This is a build that focuses on ramping up my combo as fast as possible and maximizing the amount of status and crits I put out in an area. So this build features our new Saxum set mods, where I'm using the Saxum Thorax on my Keratinos here. The reason why we are using this is for the set bonus, where killing lifted enemies will deal extra damage in an area and it scales based on their percent health. Targeting the heaviest units in the crowd would benefit this effect the most. I also have this mod equipped on my pistol since it works as a good 60-60 replacement mod without adding extra elements, as well as putting one on my frame as I happen to have a free slot there. So if we look at our melee build, I'm going to start off with Weeping Wounds, scaling with my combo multiplier. This weapon has 29% base status, so you can get this all the way up to 120 something percent from Weeping Wounds itself. I've already modded nearly 100% status on this weapon, so this means that max combo will be over 200% status, inflicting at least 2 procs per hit. Obviously, we're also going to be running Blood Rush so that I can set up a hybrid build. There is only 13% base crit chance on this weapon, but we should still be able to take advantage of it since you'll see it's very easy to build to max combo, and you can still get pretty sizable amount of damage out of even just the yellow crits due to the amount of status that you're spreading. We're going to be modding Viral and Heat with our 60-60 mods, Virulent Scourge, Vicious Frost, and Volcanic Edge. I opted to run Primed Reach here since this weapon really only has about 1.7 meter base range, which I find is a little bit on the small side for my liking, and if anything, this Primed Reach stacks with the unique perk of this weapon. If you use a heavy attack at max combo, the weapon will gain extra range for the heavy attack and will also remain with you for the next 3 minutes. The wiki states that it's somewhere around 2 to 3 meters, but there's no real testing that's been shown so far. If I stack this with Prime Reach, I can easily get up to a 7 meter radius. So let's spawn our level 145 Corrupted Heavy Gunners and test this weapon out. I have no buffs present here except what's already on the build. I'm gonna hack and slash a little bit, and as you can see, the weapon is pretty viable. I can kill my first heavy gunner from no stacks pretty quickly in a couple of seconds, and it kinda just ramps up from there. Now you can see here I'm using my heavy attack since I hit max combo. It does a ton of damage and I'm benefiting from this extra range remaining even after my combo resets. This makes it easier for me to stack combo in this last crowd here, where I'm easily cleaning up and spreading status all over the place and still building combo pretty quickly. Let's see how we can benefit with Prime Reach, the extra range from the heavy attack at max combo, as well as Mirage's clones. Well, that's quite a lot of range, and you can see I pretty much annihilated them pretty quickly even though I had no combo stacks to build off of. So let's look at a different build. This one I'm going to drop Primed Reach for Primed Fever Strike. This will give us more viral proc bias at the start and should let us ramp up our damage faster at the cost of range. You can offset this with Mirage's clones, but outside of Mirage there isn't really a way to do this. Still, let's look at how good the single target damage is right out of the gate. It seems to be performing decently well, a little bit better than the previous build, but the loss of extra hits on surrounding enemies really limits the immediate potential I can have on the scaling. You can see as soon as I cast my clones here, I'm already benefiting from hitting the other nearby heavy gunners. And if I bring this over to the bunch of heavy gunners over here, they just die really fast. So as you can see, range seems to matter a lot for this weapon. This is why I was opting for the Primed Reach build and not focusing on the Primed Fever Strike. You can see here, if I'm at 12x and I use my heavy attack, I can wipe out all those heavy gunners in one click of a button. But if I just come over to the heavy gunners on the side here, I can do the exact same with just using my light attacks for about 2 or 3 seconds. So I really don't see the appeal of using the heavy attack over and over again. I really see it as just getting up there once so you can unlock the perk of the weapon, and then just sticking to your light attacks and building back up to 12x. How can we take this build further? Well, we haven't added Arcanes into the picture yet. If I use Arcane Fury, this will significantly increase the upfront damage I can provide, as well as fueling my slash procs more. I'm going to run Arcane Strike as well to increase my attack speed further on this weapon. I don't need to mod for it on the weapon itself, as this archetype is already pretty quick. And I'm going to bring Zymos as a potential setup weapon. You can see here, this time I'm going to build for Corrosive instead. It has a lot of shared elements with my melee right now, which makes it less optimal for the condition overload, but the real purpose here is I just want to set up and prime my Corrosive armor strip in an AoE area due to the headshots perk of Zymos. So first, we will take a look at what the Arcanes can do. You can immediately see my damage is ramping up a lot faster at the start, as well as my attack speed, and I can just clean up these heavy gunners very, very quickly. Now we're going to come up to the third set of heavy gunners, and I'll just cast my heavy attack. You can see I annihilate them all there, and it resets my combo as well as the timer back to 3 minutes for the extra range. Now we're going to use my clones. I'm going to try setting up with Zymos to armor strip, and we're just going to use our light attacks. Well, what do you know? They're all dead. Now I'm going to try these heavy gunners on the side with no Zymos, and they're dead as well. So you can see the power of the armor strip is extremely strong, but this weapon just works so well once you get the passive going and the Arcanes that unless you're fighting something in multi-hour endurance, you probably won't even need to set up with a pistol like KNukor or Zymos in advance. It's just that strong. So now let's move on to our last build. We are going to be looking at our Eidolon build for Keratinos this time. I just want to note that the full damage potential will not be able to be showed here in this demonstration, as the Grineer will not be taking extra damage from the sacrificial set's Bane against Sentience. We are going to be running both sacrificial mods here, also for the individual mod scaling itself, as the sacrificial steel critical chance bonus will scale up much more with both mods present. This pushes me up to 48.8% innate crit chance that doubles on a heavy attack, even though this is not really a crit based weapon to start out with. We're going to be running Corrupt Charge for the 2x multiplier on our heavy attack. It's only rank 2 because that is all you need to get the 2x multiplier. I'm running Gladiator Might for the extra crit damage, only heat since Shock Trooper will give me radiation, and Killing Blow to cut down on the windup of the weapon as well as increase the base damage. Amalgam Organ Shatter for the same thing, but to increase our crit damage. Strain Infection to push this weapon further since there's no Riven on the build. Strain Infection is a very powerful source of additional crit damage, which we are really lacking. On my Warframe, I'm going to be using the other Strain set mod, Strain Consume. This is only here to stack the set bonus further so that I can build more cysts for Strain Infection to scale off of. For our Arcanes, we're going to be running Arcane Avenger for the additional crit chance since the base crit is so low and I have no Riven, as well as Arcane Fury to boost my base damage further. For a melee DPS run, I want to increase my aim glide setup, so I'm running Aerodynamic for 6 extra seconds of aim glide and Aero Vantage for minus 100% gravity while I'm in the air. I also need to run Modus Signal to get my extra jump height on my double jump such that I'm at the right elevation to hit Synovia, as well as running High Strength to focus on my Shock Trooper. I also must run Roar due to not having a Riven and this weapon not having the most stellar base damage for a status immune enemy. Finally, I'm going to have to bring a Helminth Charger since Strain Infection requires the cysts produced by your helminths. I'm going to also run Strain Fever and Strain Eruption as the final 2 set bonus mods. Now because Keratinos is a melee, I need a Hitscan weapon to deal with Water Limb, so I'm bringing my trusty Volcar Wraith with my Riven. I do not want to reload this weapon, so we are bringing Pandero with the Synth Charge mod. We're also going to be using the Synth Set mods on my helmet to push the holster reload further on my Volcar, and that is going to be my build. So let's spawn our Drakkar Manic Bombards. I'm going to make sure I'm not running any CP so that I don't skew the results of my test. Here I'm going to do it from behind as well so that I don't hit heads. So let's set up our Arcane Fury here. I'm going to get my Shock Trooper and my Roar, and I'm going to slide, hit them in the air like this. So you can see it doesn't immediately one-shot them, which is a little bit concerning, but you need to remember this is equivalent to a 0 CP setup. I'm going to have 4 CPs in a full man squad, which means I will do more damage. I'm also going to get the Sacrificial Bane bonus against the Sentients in the hunt, which is not reflected here. It's a total of an extra 82.6 multiplier on my damage, so I think this is enough to one-shot the limbs. For Rivens, this is a 0.5 dispo weapon. It is so strong already, I don't think you can improve on this much unless the dispo increases in the future. But if it remains this strong, I don't really have my hopes up for that. That's it for this video today, and thank you all for watching. See you all next time.